This man is convinced that if your cuticles are too short and you have a high-end skincare routine, you're not just a CEO, you're an alien queen from the Andromeda galaxy. And I thought this movie was just a comedy for the first 10 minutes, then the basement door closed. This movie opens with a beekeeper conspiracy theorist planning something to stop the elites from turning humanity into worker bees. And this plan feels like his way of saying, I won't be controlled, even though there's absolutely nothing backing his theory and it's all in his head. He genuinely believes this plan is the only way humanity can be saved, which makes everything that follows way more unsettling. Like, Teddy's theory isn't just she's an alien. This guy has a whole list of tells, like short cuticles means alien, and shaving your head is like cutting her antenna or like transmitter off, and antihistamine cream is dueling her alien powers. Like, it is just outlandish. This guy is a lunatic, but he isn't just a crazy guy. He's a crazy motherfucker who did homework on his own delusions. And this leads us directly into where we're introduced to Michelle, who looks like your textbook business exec
every time. What is it?
But she really is the walking, talking embodiment of everything Teddy hates. She has a nice car, she has a big house, so you can see why someone living in a basement with a beehive conspiracy theory will see her as an alien instead of a CEO. Then they show us Michelle taking some self-defense classes, which at first just seem like part of your standard montage, but keep an eye out for that, because she isn't just taking cardio kickboxing classes for fun. She's actually learning how to defend herself, and these two idiots have no idea what they're walking into. And the jump from Teddy's dark, messy basement to Michelle's pristine, high-end life is a massive wake-up call. It shows you exactly what Teddy thinks he's liberating the world from. And there's something genuinely tragic about how Teddy manipulates Don, who you can tell isn't all the way there mentally, and Teddy fully takes advantage of this and tells him everything he wants to hear, like, you're my best friend and I need you for this.
I know you're actually smart and brave, and no one else sees it but me.
Which is just straight up textbook manipulation, and he's also using Don to validate his own insane theory to himself, and it's very sad, but it's clear Don is just trying to belong with the only friend he has. So when Teddy and Don try to kidnap Michelle, she puts up a really strong fight thanks to her self-defense training, and it's honestly pretty funny watching them struggle so badly. Like, they get the jump on her, they tackle her, they hold her down, they try to fight her at the door. Like, she is just beating them all up and down this sidewalk, and seeing them struggle so badly at this just really cracked me up. Because it shows how completely out of their element they are. But I will say this almost plays like a dark comedy while still being deeply uncomfortable. And after all that struggle, once they successfully kidnap Michelle, Teddy refuses to use terms like her or anything that could humanize Michelle.
This isn't about her.
Hey, it is not in control anymore.
And this guy also constantly corrects Dawn, insisting she's an it or a humanoid. Even when Dawn clearly isn't fully convinced she's an alien, he's literally correcting this man for calling her a person. Like, that is just insane to me. I'm gonna say this, the way he treats Dawn really got to me. Like, it really infuriated me. And if you needed any further reason to dislike Teddy, Teddy is clearly insane, but it doesn't come from nowhere, and I'm not going to give him sympathy points here, but I want to point it out. His insanity and his mental issues trace back to his parents, who put these ideas of these aliens in his head and convinced him he's the chosen one meant to step up and stop the aliens. And you can see how that upbringing completely warped his sense of reality and ultimately caused this whole situation to happen.
Don't let them get you too.
And cutting back to the basement really fast, Michelle tries to reason with Teddy and explain that she's not an alien. And it seems simple, right? Well, not so fast. She keeps trying to ground him in reality, but Teddy always has a comeback. I'll tell you what, he really is a bullshit artist, and he's actually really quick with it too. So no matter what she says, he twists it to fit his belief system. And at this point, she's tried everything. She's tried to talk to him, she's tried to explain to him, she's tried to just work with him so he would understand she's not an alien. But at a certain point, Michelle stops trying to convince him she's a human. She fully shifts into survival mode and starts looking for any possible way out. She even admits to him that she is an alien, even though she isn't.
I admit it. You were right all along. I am an alien.
She does this just to stay alive, and this is where the dynamic slowly starts to shift and the chess match really begins, because she says, fine, if you want me to be a monster, I'll make sure to be one you're afraid of. And unfortunately enough, that decision actually backfires because Teddy hooks her up to a machine that's basically an electric chair torture device. What Teddy forgets is Michelle's in survival mode. She resists this machine long enough for Teddy to believe she's actually part of the alien royal family, which is just absurd.
I wish to apologize profusely.
But yeah, this was insane. And once she recovers, she leans fully into that angle as leverage. And Michelle doesn't just lie. She goes full Shakespeare. She tells him she's not just an alien, she's the Andromedan royalty. It's the ultimate checkmate because Teddy's ego can't handle being the guy who accidentally kidnapped a space queen. She tells Teddy that the mothership is already on the way and they have one choice: release her and be spared, or hold her and watch the world burn. She's selling him this dream so hard, she's basically writing the fan fiction for Teddy's own life. And Teddy, he's eating it right up because it validates every crazy thought he's ever had. And if you thought the kidnapping was messy, wait until you see what happens in Act 3, because this is where the lies get bigger, the stakes get higher, and we find out if Teddy's homework actually prepared him for a dinner with a queen, or if he's just a man playing house in a basement. And this leads us directly into a dinner scene where Michelle, Teddy, and Dawn are all sitting down together, but this is where the mind games get serious and they go from just alien lies to actual personal digs, because Michelle starts bringing up Teddy's sick mother.
For Sandy or for the others.
Do not say her name. You do not say her name.
We believe.
And you can instantly see his anger flare up when she presses the subject. All Teddy keeps asking is for her to shut up, but she refuses and keeps digging in. This is when Teddy finally snaps. He jumps over the table and he tries to choke her out, and full chaos breaks out. But Michelle actually starts to gain the upper hand. Then Dawn steps in, hitting her in the head with the butt of a shotgun and ending the fight completely. This is the moment where we realize Dawn isn't sure if she's an alien. He isn't sure if she's evil, but he knows, oh, she's hurting Teddy, and he's loyal to Teddy, so he ends the fight. And lucky enough for them, Dawn does this with just enough time left for them to get Michelle back in the basement before an old babysitter of Teddy's, who is a cop now, shows up asking questions. And somehow, I don't know how, this guy does not connect the dots. Michelle's phone was pinged in the area, Michelle's car was spotted on nearby cameras, and there's a chair bolted to the floor in the kitchen right where you're looking at. And anybody in their right mind, especially an officer investigating the case, would put this together. And I honestly thought that it was just crazy that he missed it before Teddy eventually took him out. But while Teddy is upstairs dealing with the officer trying to get him out of there before eventually taking him out, Michelle starts working on Dawn, knowing he's a bit slower and still unsure if she's really an alien, plus he's feeling guilty about knocking her out earlier. She tells him Teddy's already been arrested and that they're coming for him next. Dom completely breaks in this moment, and it is just so tragic because you can tell that he is still so unsure and he feels lost and he's just looking for a little bit of hope. Like, he asks Michelle,
If all of this is true, and you have a spaceship, would you take me away from here?
Yes, absolutely.
but out of nowhere, Don completely breaks and turns the gun on himself, and this dude just blew his head smooth off, and I genuinely could not believe what I was seeing. It really shows how far gone they both are, and honestly feels so bad for Don because he was groomed into all of this. And when Teddy deals with the cop, he comes back downstairs to find Don's body, but this is also when Michelle steps into that fully manipulative side of herself, saying she didn't know what happened, it happened so fast, she didn't do anything. And Michelle starts to manipulate and work on Teddy too, because he already killed the cop, he's already high on emotion, he doesn't know what's happening, everything's happening so fast. So Michelle somehow convinces Teddy that his mother's disease is some kind of experiment from the aliens, and she tells him he can stop it if he acts fast. So she tells him to get something out of her car, and it turns out he grabs something that is clearly some car oil, and he must have thought this was blinker fluid or something, I don't know, because he grabs it and he goes straight to the hospital, and he grabs this oil and injects it into his mom's IV, and this directly leads to her death. And this entire sequence of events, I was just sitting there in awe. I'm like, what is happening? There's so much going on, this is insane. And it was insane and fast paced, but it didn't leave you behind. You're with it there the whole time, experiencing everything with the characters, which was awesome, because it would have been really easy for them to lose us in that sequence. And when Teddy returns home, if Michelle wasn't messing with his mind before, she definitely is now. She goes fully into dumping fake lore and fake explanations and completely committing to the alien angle, and she actually manipulates him into taking her to her job, revealing him and the missing woman in one place together, basically saying, hey, this guy's the one who kidnapped me, which was genius by her. But this movie keeps flipping between she isn't an alien, she might be one, there's no way she is, and then suddenly we're back at the closet portal, and this reveal finally hints that she actually was an alien the whole time. And I'll be damned if this motherfucker Teddy was right, because I spent the whole movie calling this man a bullshit artist, but when that door opened, I'll be damned, this motherfucker might have been the only one telling the truth the whole time, and I still can't tell if this reveal was really sick or really stupid. Either way, this was easily the most insane movie I've watched this year, and honestly, probably in a lot longer time than that. So if you like thrillers, or if you like just mind-blowing movies, go watch this movie. Even though I explained to you what happens, you still will not expect things to happen. It is just a really good movie, and just go check it out for me. And if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for it, brother. I'm trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. But yeah, as always, stay curious and keep the conversation going.